everyone. This is Monte Dravenstead again from monsterarts.com with part 4 of our series of building a game in Unity and Blender. One quick announcement: I've decided we're going to go with GIMP as our texture package, graphics package, simply because since everything else we're doing in here is free and open source, or at least free to be able to get going on, we might as well use GIMP as the open source package that it is, and we might move some things into Inkscape, which is also an open source package, just to help us out along there. But just to set up where we are right now, we had finished by getting everything in to Unity, and you can see I've dropped in our stairs, and on our stairs we have our collision for our stairs. So what we're going to do is here work on testing and making sure that all of this is working correctly. So the first thing that we're going to do is grab a game object, other, and plane, and drop that right in there, and we're going to go ahead and scale that up. And so just, whoops, that's not really what I want to do. I want to scale it like that. It really doesn't matter. We're not going to be keeping that in as it is, and we're going to go ahead over here in the transform and set it to 0, 0, 0, which should give us right at the bottom of where our game is. And we'll just stretch this out a little bit this way. And you saw that I changed the gizmo by these buttons up here in the upper left hand corner, and just clicking on them will bring it back, and then for moving around the scene, that's what we use that one for. Also, if you hold the Alt key down, then the left mouse button or normal mouse button will rotate, the middle mouse button will pan, and the right mouse button will scale in. So the next thing what we're going to do now that we have that there, and notice that that already has a mesh collider right on it, so we don't have to worry about that. Looks like it's a little high yet, so what we're going to do is go ahead and move that down so that it's just so that the floor is just showing through. And let's see if that's, nope, it still looks like it's a little above. So we need it to be just below the floor. Nope, it was alright. And we can use these to set us to a orthographic view, and then we can see right there where the origin is, and it should be right down on underneath our floor. Then we're going to go over, and in our standard assets package, there is a section called Character Controllers that you should have installed from the first time when we ran it. We're going to grab our third person controller and we're going to drag it right in. And if you look, there's our third person controller. He's just been dropped right in there. And the first thing we want to do is bring him up to the floor. So let's go right in as close as we can here and get him on the floor, which looks like right about there. And then we're also, just to make it simple when we start with the game, we're going to spin him around 180 degrees so that he is facing the building when we first go in. And then in order to see anything, we need to get some lights. So we're going to go and create other, and we want just a simple directional light. And you can see the difference right off the bat. Now the directional light doesn't, where you place it doesn't actually matter, only the rotation matters. So if we look and try to get these little white yellow lines, I'm not sure if you can see that very well or not. So what we're going to do is go over, and where is there's our intensity, and let's drop that by about half and see what that does for us. A little easier to see, and if we rotate it, we should be able to get what we're looking for, and then we're going to probably bring this back up to 0.5 again and see how that looks. So what we've done here is now install a character, so we should be able to basically play our game. Excuse me, and some lights so we can see. And we're going to grab our stairs, and I'm going to rotate them this way, so in the on the y-axis, Nope, negative 90 degrees. Negative 90. And then we're going to go over here to the orthographic view, grab our, and why, there we go. We need to make sure that we're in global mode so that our things match the way they're supposed to. Our gizmo matches the way it's supposed to. And we're just going to slap it over here in this corner. And take a look. Yep, that should be fine. And what this is going to allow us to do, and the reason we built this is a bunch of reasons, but let's start by taking a look. We need to make sure that the standard character here will actually fit through our door. Will that work? Will a 1 meter door, which is what we set this up to be, work? And I've tested it and it does work, but depending on how you're building things, let's say you're building a cave, you need to make sure that the character would fit through, if you're trying to make a narrow part of the cave, that it doesn't get stuck on the colliders. And the colliders are probably more of a big deal than actually modeling the cave. That's pretty easy to make sure, but you need to make sure that they come through there. We want to make sure that the colliders on the walls and on the stairs work, and that he can run up the stairs and fall off the edge and do all of that, which is one of the reasons that I did stairs. So I wanted to take a look at what kind of a collider. In this particular case, I made a collider come down here, and we'll see, but depending, it might make more sense to actually do a full diagonal all the way down, since you'll never actually see the collider. We just need it to work with the character. So in Unity, to go ahead and test your game, I'm going to drop this down just a little bit to give us some more room, and pull that over just to give us a little bit more room, and we just click the play button. And there we go. Now we have our character who's already got a built-in run cycle, which is whatever you want to do with it. And there's one of the issues that you'll notice with this third-person controller, that it takes a little bit to get through. But he did make it through the door, and I'm just using the arrow keys to run around. And let's see, there is no mouse look on this. The character is just following. And notice right there, he did get up onto the stairs. These might be a little thin, but he does go up and over and drop down back into our building. And he can't run through that wall, which is important, or that wall. And some of the things, he leans forward quite a bit, so the if you notice the capsule, and we'll take a look at that in just a second, but we cannot get through any of these walls. And then when you're done, just take your mouse and go up and stop. So let's take a look at, this is the collider. Go ahead and zoom right in here. Guess I'm getting too close. Alright, on our character. And notice that the collider only goes out this far, and that when he was running, he was leaning forward. So the collider is going to be that capsule versus, if we go over here, let's see if we can make one of these pop out. That one's not going to help much. So it's this capsule and the edge of the capsule here that's going to collide against this wall, but not until these two green things match, which means his head was going through. So that's something we would either want to extend the capsule or make your animation so that he's not running so far forward. But all in all, what we have here is the beginnings of a working game. We can move him around and start running through into our building and up some stairs. So we know that that does work. At least how I built these stairs was just to take 3 meters high and divide it by the amount of stairs that I wanted, and came up with a rise and run, which I believe I made the same. They aren't technically the same in real life, but it is a game. You can go ahead and do that, and then just put in enough subdivisions to make all of those and cut it out. I have not, there's probably a way, I didn't take the time, there's probably a way to take some of these vertices down, but I don't think it's all that big of a deal. It's not that large, and we could make it, if we were going to use it in this way, we could actually make it even more simple by actually removing this whole back face here and just leave it open, and that should work fine because it would enclose everything. You're not really looking at a open face the way you would with just a planar wall where you can just walk right around it, and that should work just fine. I built some stuff in UDK that way, and that should work fine. I'll try to remember to do some testing, or if you guys want to test and put some comments in as to whether or not that works. But that is the big deal. We've got it running. The next thing we're going to start doing is texturing the walls on our home and then start filling it with props. And I probably won't go through like every prop, but we'll go through a couple of props and show some ways to make them using some of the tools in Blender on how to make them look pretty good inside here, yet trying to keep the polygon count low. So that should wrap up our testing. And if there's anything else you could think of you'd want to do, and leave some notes on the YouTube or on the site. Both places you can leave messages. And if there's something else you would like to see tested, we can go from there. But this would give us enough to start building our city, basically, our little village. And we'll go from there. So thanks. I hope you're enjoying it. Please leave some comments and let me know how I'm doing. Thanks. Have a great day.